CNN's Chris Cuomo just got into a big argument with former New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani about some of the uses of language in talking about the Orlando shooting, and also which culture is better.
The fact is that the weaker you are, the harder they hit you, and there is a connection between radical Muslim and attacking gays and lesbians. Radical Muslims believe that the death penalty is the correct punishment for gays and lesbians. And when Anderson before, who I thought had some very beautiful remarks, talked about people, people argue over gay marriage in the United States and things like that. Well, look, we argue about gay marriage in the United States. There's nobody in the United States who argues for death for homosexuals in the United States. So this is a very, very different culture.
Yeah, no, it's true.
And we're at a very different level of civilization. And somebody should point out the superiority of our civilization to the barbarians that we're facing.
Oh, absolutely. And that's why we have these discussions. You know me well enough, Mr. Mayor. No, I have no argument with you.
He has no argument with him. Oh, that's good to know. Good on the record.
What?
Yeah, that's why I said before the show, don't give him too much credit just yet.
We didn't see the part about, he says the Italians and...
Yeah, so they went on to have a larger conversation where Chris Cuomo was making the good point that when you are so quick to, like, their goal when something like this happens is to identify it as this is the result of Islam, even though it seems very clear in this case that this is the result of a person who was taught by his religion and culture to hate the fact that he was gay, that you would never identify an Italian killing someone as radical Italian murder or something like that, or implicate that everybody must be a part of the mafia because that's the best known violent part of this culture. You wouldn't do that. Now, Rudy Giuliani didn't actually accept that as an analogy, but I think that it is an interesting one.
Do you know who's got an Italian relative that was part of the mafia?
Who?
Rudy Giuliani.
Was he really?
His dad was a collector for a loan shark.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh. No wonder he's touchy about it.
So the thing that they agreed upon at the end was that their culture, meaning Muslim culture, is barbarian, and ours is not.
Yeah, they use subtle language. Barbarian.
So, I've had this conversation with other people, it's that our culture is better than yours, looking down the nose. Our culture is better because we don't throw gays off of roofs in our culture. I went to a Trump rally last week.
Yeah.
They want to.
Oh, yeah.
The reason why we don't throw gays off the roofs in the United States is because we had to wrestle the culture away from those motherfuckers, which is about half of them that do want to do that. That's why, because we keep it. And guess what? Liberty requires eternal vigilance, and that's what this is about, right?
Yeah.
And this whole thing that Noam Chomsky just said who's the biggest terrorist program in the world? It's our drone program. That's the best. So, you don't think our drone program is horrible? You don't think we have religious people starting wars, killing hundreds of thousands of people, ordering torture to cover it up? Yeah. We just had Kim Davis having a rally with the Republican presidential campaign hopefuls about how much they can discriminate and take rights away from gay people. So fuck you about how somehow you're better, Rudy Giuliani, than anybody else. You are a cretin.
Yeah.
There's lots wrong with you. You want to demonize those people, and then when it's convenient for you, you want to use those same people you demonize as a baton to beat your political opponents with. So that's all bullshit. That whole thing, this class of cultures, I'm from the Catholic religion where they raped boys for decades and probably longer and covered it up on purpose and still do it. In fact, they just got legislators in New York to put in legislation to make it harder for victims to sue. What kind of fucked up culture is that?
Pro-life.
That's very pro-life.
Yeah. So see, you have the benefit of being able to look at the clash of cultures without trying to tie your essence into one of them. And so you can see them for what both of them are. Most people engage in this class of cultures thinking one is clearly better, and so they can't see the faults of it. Christianity, most Christianity, not all Christianity, has come a long way, but it hasn't come a long way because it wanted to come a long way. It's because it's been literally stopped from doing all of the crazy murderous things that it did. When Christianity was in charge, we had the Crusades and we had the Inquisition. We had real exercise of Christian power. They have been stopped from doing that, but not because they didn't want to do it anymore. And there are some great liberal Christians now, thankfully. They're allowed to exist. They aren't killed by the right-wing Christians. But that isn't because they suddenly became benevolent overnight.
In our culture right now, we have elected officials poisoning children with lead in the water on purpose for money. That's how much better our culture is than someone else who's a barbarian. But in the light of day, knowingly, for months, if not years, we directly, on purpose, poison children who are poor in one of our American cities so somebody can make political points and make more money. But they're barbarians, and somehow and by the way, nobody's in jail for doing that. Not a fucking person is in jail for doing that. We ordered torture on a global scale. Nobody went to jail. Nobody's even investigated. Nobody even gets prosecuted. Nobody. You know who gets prosecuted? The guys who fucking out those crimes. That's our culture. So why don't you fix our fucking culture before you call anybody else a barbarian? I'm so sick of this shit of somehow we're fucking a much better culture. Somehow Rudy Giuliani, one of the scumbags of the world, goes on CNN and says anybody else is worse than him?